Nishida Kitaro was a 20th century Japanese philosopher whose insights reframed our understanding of existence, dissolving the boundaries between the self, the world, and our direct experience. Synthesizing Eastern meditative traditions with Western logic, Nishida challenged contemporary views of subject and object, self and other. Through his concept of pure experience, he invited us to see reality not as separate parts, but as an interwoven, dynamic whole. Nishida extended this fluid, unfixed essence to encompass the historical world and the individuals who inhabit it, portraying both as outcomes of a dynamic and interdependent process of continuous creation and transformation. Nishida's philosophy begins with a reframing of our fundamental understanding of perception through an analysis of our immediate sensory experience, a state he termed pure experience. Mirroring much of Eastern philosophical thought, Nishida asserted that pure experience is not something that happens when a subject interacts with external objects, as traditional Western philosophy might suggest. Instead, it precedes the separation of subject and object entirely. Pure experience occurs in the immediate and undivided moment before any conceptualization, interpretation, or judgment, such as recognizing this or that color or sound. It is a foundational state of direct engagement with reality, free from any distinctions or conceptual labels. For example, when we look at a tree, our minds would produce a number of concepts of what constitutes a tree, such as brown, green, trunk, leaves, branches, abstract concepts that are one step removed from the direct experience of the thing itself. This is the foundation of Eastern non-dualist meditative practices, namely to descend from the layers of conceptual and abstract thought into the purity of present moment experience prior to any conceptualization. From this state of pure consciousness emerges the next key component of Nishida's philosophy, self-awareness. This is the process that occurs when consciousness reflects upon itself. Crucially, however, this reflection does not divide the one reflecting from what is reflected upon. In other words, there is no division into subject and object. Instead, immediate experience and the subsequent reflective thought are seamlessly unified, like consciousness looking at itself through a mirror. In this state, knower and known, subject and object are not separate, but form a singular foundational awareness, which, according to Nishida, underpins all knowledge. Nishida often symbolized this self-awareness through the process of creativity. Creative acts such as painting or playing music demonstrates the unity of subject and object. The artist loses any awareness of themselves in the creative act, becoming one with the world they are creating and initially emerged from, in a process of emanation and return. For Nishida, consciousness does not reside in an external body or the physical world. Rather, it arises from what he termed absolute nothingness, the dynamic field that precedes all things and allows them to manifest. This singular, undifferentiated consciousness is the origin point where subject and object emerge as distinct. It is from this division that knowledge arises, giving form to our emotions, values, and actions, expressions of an ongoing interplay between self-awareness and the external world. In the same way that self-awareness arises from consciousness reflecting upon itself, the world emerges through a similar dynamic interplay between human beings. Nishida asserted that at any given moment, the world reflects the openness and indeterminate nature of absolute nothingness, but also contains every interaction and engagement that has ever occurred, thus embodying both the potential for new creativity and the cumulative events of the past. Consequently, this unfolding does not follow a linear path, but arises continually from an eternal present, like ripples in a body of water emanating from a single drop. Nishida termed the world shaped by human actions the historical world, a place where individuals and their interactions mutually define and transform one another. For Nishida, just as absolute nothingness serves as the foundation of pure experience and the subsequent distinctions between subject and object, it also grounds every cultural and historical differentiation within the historical world. This shared foundation enables the emergence of collective meaning and creativity through the dynamic process of unfolding reality. We often assume that the historical world shapes the individuals within it, but for Nishida, this relationship is far more dynamic. Our self-identity, according to Nishida, does not exist as an isolated, fixed entity within the mind, but emerges dynamically from the unfolding of pure consciousness as it reflects upon itself through the medium of our individual bodies. Individuals thus form their identities through active engagement with the world, which in turn is continually shaped by their actions and interactions. This ongoing interplay creates a mutually transformative process. Individuals influence the historical world as much as the world influences them, revealing a reality that is not static but alive, relational, and constantly unfolding. This concept is key to Nishida's ideas around self-awakening, the process of recognizing that there is no fixed self, but rather our existence is groundless. Groundlessness in this sense refers to the lack of a fixed, permanent self that exists independently from the world and others. Nishida emphasized that our identities are not static, but instead continually shift as we engage with the world and those around us throughout our lives. For example, we may think of ourselves as a particular type of person, but when we examine our identity more closely, we quickly realize it is in a consistent state of change. We may have a personal experience that changes our political or religious views. Our opinions on art, social movements, cultural expressions may change over time. For Nishida, this lack of a fixed essence and the dynamic nature of the self was a profound truth about our sense of identity, as well as being the key to self-awakening. Nishida used the metaphor of a flowing stream or river to capture this idea. The river symbolizes the ever-changing and dynamic nature of our existence, emphasizing that our identities are not fixed, but are continuously shaped by the flow of experiences, relationships, and interactions with the world. Having the awareness and openness to accept this fluidity may improve our relationships with ourselves, the world, and others. On the other hand, maintaining a rigid perspective of ourselves as this or that type of person only creates internal and external conflict whenever we come up against a difficulty, rather than having the adaptability to overcome hardship. This inflexibility can result in the loss of potential growth through our life experiences. Nishida's philosophy invites us to reimagine reality, not as fixed divisions between self and world, subject and object, but as a dynamic, interconnected process of continuous creation. Through his ideas around pure consciousness emerging into self-awareness and the historical world, Nishida shows us that we are not isolated observers, but deeply embedded in and co-creators of reality itself. By embracing the groundless nature of our identities, we open ourselves to growth, creativity, and deeper connections with the world and others. In doing so, we can come to see reality as an organically unfolding process of creation, filled with endless transformative potential for ourselves and the world.